Yep. Monday and Tuesday, it's the same day. Sometimes. Sometimes it's just like that. Let's move the kitty cat back up here. Kitty cat cam. Ooh, I need to adjust that. Feel like it's been a month. I have so much to do today, and I have no idea how many are all done. Yeah, let's look at some deck lists. We could do that. Let's see. I played that. Did I not upload the other one? Of course I didn't. Of course. Of course. Why wouldn't I? Yeah, hey, how are you doing, Petey? I'll wiggle back over here. Kitty cat's like, I am gonna be out of the screen as much as I can. Oh no. I don't think I have a con crud. I say as I sniffle. Alright, what did I open my phone for? That ADHD brain where you open your phone and you forget why you picked it up and walked across the whole house to grab it. Alright, upload. Where's that deck list photo? There it is. Scroll down. I played that. So I played this on Saturday. It's the exact same 60 that Sky played. I was either gonna play this or Blurple. I had access to Dumbos. I was able to borrow them from some awesome locals, and I opened one in the booster draft pre-release. Everyone's catching it. 5 people who have it this week. I was masked up for most of it, but I did take my mask off for the feature matches to show my pretty face. I'll find out whether or not that's a mistake worth repeating. But we have started to relax on masking in certain elements of the public before, where we were just constantly wearing a mask, but my son's not wearing a mask at school now. Which I don't know how well he was wearing it. Like, he wanted to wear it, like he was fine with wearing it, but I don't know. He was young enough and he played with it a lot, right? So it's like, well, how well did it work? Had to work better than nothing, obviously. Hello, Dick. How are you? You burning it up? See, I was So after playing Blurple in this, oh, dyeing your hair for Denver? Good, good. That means he wants to play. Sadly, it means he's not going to do well, because he does better when he doesn't want to win and he doesn't care. But when he wants to care, then that's the tell. You know you're in trouble. If his hair's dyed, you're like, okay, I got him. Commentating. Oh, all right, good, good, good. At the grocery store and airports. Sky wore one at the airport on the way there. I wore one for both airports. The event. I did not wear it the entire time for certain breaks, but I tried to keep it on. I forgot, since we had been unmasking for a while, like, I have 2 styles of masks and I could not wear the other one. It was like pulling on my ears. But the nice white one still works. You just go back here. But anyways, who cares about that? I liked this list a lot, and it was beaten up on me when I was playing Blurple enough that I was kind of afraid to play Blurple, expecting more people to be playing this and not wanting to be caught by it. But I kind of I underjudged where the meta was, I guess. Like, all right, have fun, Dick. So the meta basically was where I thought it would be, but a little bit farther ahead. So there was enough people playing green blue to counter it. I was hoping there'd be more Blurple than there was, which is funny to say because some people only played Blurple. I just only got to play it twice. I wanted to play it all day long. How loud is this music? This seems really loud. No, it's not even. I'm just tired still. I think I got like 16, 15 hours of sleep Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Probably like 20 hours total. Like each night was like four. So we left on Wednesday. Wait. Yeah, we left Wednesday. I left Wednesday night to go to Omaha, and we hung out in Omaha. And our flight was at like 4, so we just stayed up because we had testing to do anyways. That was where the lovely milk and cookies shot came from. Jim, you're in the next deck list. You're in this deck. See. And the testing kind of just showed that this deck is pretty good against Blurple, and we did expect some Amber Steel, and we have the Truby Tuesday in here, which is what we named the deck after Troubadour. It's the power it gives you to win the mirror, so you're not just automatically losing on the draw. Is great. Like if you don't play the Troubadour, how do you answer a Tiana on 3? Hi, Jane. If they curve on the play, like 1-drop, 2-drop Tiana, turn 4, sing strength, or play character, sing strength on the person on the draws Tiana, they're probably winning that game. Like, not only can they not counter race you, they're down, they don't have a singer to try to stop you to even challenge you out. So, like, your Nala on turn 2 you played is, like, uncontested for the whole game. Funny. It's pretty good. I think the purple steel, the amethyst steel, and amber steel matchup is like pretty close together. If you know what you need to take down, if you, like, so I played the Zach Bivens list, and I'm gonna snooze this ad break. I'll give it one snooze. I played the Bivens list against this to test it, and if the Amber Steel player does not respect cards, they will lose. So if you've never played against it and you don't play around the cards, they're just gonna punish you with Skater Mim. Oh, hey Kim, it was a pleasure. Are you still around, or did you already fly back home? And same to you, same safe trip. What was I saying? This is my first cup of coffee, and it's my second drink. I didn't have any cold brew left, and I'm not going to drive to buy coffee. So the Troubadour or the Purple Steel Bivens list. So if they don't respect the Mim just comes down, and all of a sudden Hook takes something out. Calhoun takes something out. They swap lore. They have a bunch of characters, and you have nothing. You get crushed. But if you respect that, it turns into a scenario where you create this big board, and you just like do this huge alpha strike, and they can't answer everything. And if you pay close enough attention to the meta, you can kind of predict, like, a lot of the average player is going to take Zach Bivens' list, and they are not going to touch it, right? They're not going to know why those cards are necessarily always there. They're just going to play it. And they might even test hundreds of games with it, and they're still not going to change a card with it. And that can create a scenario where it's like, well, I know they don't play Lilo, so I can just play around Jafar. And then that creates the next layer, whereas if the average opponent plays against a Bivens list, they get it enshrined to not play around Lilo. So then someone could meta by actually changing one or two cards, by adding a Lilo, and then blow them out. Because there's definitely scenarios that, like, we found ourselves in, that it's like, if they can suss out that you're like on a Jafar list, like if you play a single Jafar, you're probably not playing both. Some might. I mean, I would maybe even recommend one Lilo, two Jafar if you're kind of gonna try to like be a sneaky sneak. You could even play a Lilo so they don't expect the Jafar, I guess, even though I don't know why that would matter. Probably would never want to do it that way and want to do it the other way around. But it was a pleasure to meet everyone this weekend. Um, it is. I feel like I was complimented too much over the weekend. It was nice meeting a lot of people this weekend, playing Lorcana. I'm also just really happy I did well, because PPG Texas, I like scrubbed out really hard. I just darn that DKP for introducing Carpetbag. All I did was lose to Carpetbag the whole time. Like, I didn't play any games after Worlds. I just took like a nice little relaxing break for just a little bit until that happened. I was like, I'm just gonna play Green Steel. I'm not gonna look at anything. So I didn't actually even know how bad Carpetbag was for me until Denver or Texas. And so I was like quite a rude awakening to find out that if they played Carpetbag, I could like almost never get them fully out of cards, and they're just gonna hit that Sisu most of the time, and I have to have it all the time. And like, I almost had it a few times, but you know, back to back Sisu type things. Just Sisu games. I digress. But after testing with Sky on Wednesday night, and I really liked this. And I was on the side of Amethyst Steel. I basically had all the cards to play Blurple, Amethyst Steel, and Amber Steel. I took those and the cards to build dogs, because I knew that we're going down on Thursday. I was probably going to be able to watch Kurt play or even play some games with him. And if he was on some spicy dogs build, like, I wanted to be able to build it and like swap to it if it was like the counter to the meta. But it was nice to come out there and just be like, Kurt's like on a very similar list, like 10-ish cards maybe. He was just like off the Pete and cannons and be our guest. It's like the Pete's were Sven's. I think the cannons were the song, the Can't Challenge song, I guess, and the Be Our Guests were something else that was a consideration. There might have been another small swap, but like the big part is that he also played Troubadour, um, and it did like give us some extra game in scenarios, to show a little bit more skill expression, if just being able to strength before they strength is considered skill expression in some manners. But I do like Pete in the Merrics, and it's funny as I wish I had seen the Pete more often, because I got stomped by Under the Sea in the first round. It was quite disheartening, mostly because Under the Sea is such a blowout. It just right in the face, and I didn't have the Pete. And then in one of the games I had the Pete, but I just didn't have the lore. Like, I double Peated to play around it, but I just like didn't even have the lore to win the game in one of the spots. Like, I think that was later against Joshua Paltry. I lost to Under the Sea early, and I lost to Under the Sea late. And I lost to Flinger Dingers, like Red Purple, Mother Gothel, late. That was my like nail in the coffin, right? Like, I lost the first two, so I basically knew no matter what, I was out of the event. Um, I think the only way that doesn't happen is if my first two opponents just don't lose and they both make top eight. Um, and so like there was some hope, because the person I lost to in the first round won a few. Um, and then I won 5 rounds in a row, lost to Mother Gothel, so I was out, and then I got to play against Joshua Paltry, and he had the coolest deck. I need to get his deck list. It was like a Circle of Life, yellow emerald list, and it was playing Jim Hawkins, the Amber Jim Hawkins, and Pirate Piglet, or not Piglet, Rabbit, like the 1/2, just because it's something you could grab with the Jim Hawkins. And so it's like Under the Sea, Circle of Life were like the two big songs he was playing. Surfer Stitch, Aurora. He did have Tiana in his deck, but he said after we played, he was like, "Yeah, I like my deck, but I want to take the Tiana out. I don't think she fits in." I think he was kind of playing it his way that you can sing all out on your. You could like sing a big Circle of Life, and then the Tiana protects your characters from like a counterattack. Was the thought process, and that makes sense. I like that. I know there's another card from the list that I'm forgetting, but it was really cool. So I want to get that to try it. I lost to Alex Coffee was the one playing Amethyst Ruby, and I did get a screenshot of his deck list because I wanted to try to play that on stream sometime too. And it was so frustrating. Like I might have been able to win the first game, but I haven't ever played against Flinger Dingers before. And that's definitely a deck that you have to get just stomped by it. At least a game or like one or two things. It's like, yeah, oh yeah, that card does exist. It's like, I should have played around that. Oh, this occurs. And so it's like, I got blown out by one or two things that I just didn't play around. And it was so backbreaking that even then trying to play around it in that same game and doing so, I was so far behind that it's like I just sat there and it's like, oh, he has 4 characters and I've got 7. Let's do some math. And I'm like, all right, he plays this, he does this, he moves it here, he does this, he moves it here. Da 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 da. I'm left with 1 or no characters left, and I lose the game at 12 lore. Okay, and I lost game 3. I definitely made a mistake. To seal the deal. I still think I lose, um, but I basically had quested with a doc, and I forgot that he had an Exert Elsa because I'm bad, and I could have sent a doc into it for a trade, but I still probably lose. Like at that point, I was just like, I think the only way I can literally win this game is like turning everything sideways, playing a character, turn it sideways, play a character, turn it sideways, or like some miracle dock chain. And the dock chain still gets through the Elsa, but I digress. Like I should have traded with the Elsa there. I'm still losing the game, but it's really hard to play against the Mother Gothel, the blowout. So in like with at least one mistake there, and then like multiple mistakes in game 1 of questing when I just should not have, is quite frustrating. But the deck, he's like, I was chatting with him later. He's like, yeah, it's like a 90-10% matchup. And I'm just like, man, I didn't feel that bad, but it felt bad. I was going to say like 70-30. But I also was chatting with him while playing. I was just like, well, how many people misplay into this? And he's just like, all of them. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. That makes me feel better. Thank you. Thank you. And he played on the Portal team on the ICL in Season 1. So it was nice to get to see him. And I did forget which team he played on. I knew him. I like recognized his face and I recognized his name. I couldn't remember why, and it was from player cards, and it was playing in the ICL. Which I'm like, oh, I'm such a terrible person for not remembering the player. And then I like think about it, and I'm like, there's like multiple teams with 20 players on them in Season 1, and we had 20 teams with at least like 3 on the lowest in there. It's like, all right, I'm allowed to forget some people, I think. But I did like the deck. And while I made mistakes, lost to the like in a meta position, like what Sailor ended up swapping to, I think last minute, like the night before, I think Sailor swapped from Blurple to Emerald Sapphire, or he was kind of pondering it for a while and was between the two. Under the Sea is in a very good position in the meta right now. And if Amber Steel is there to beat up on Blurple because everyone's like, Blurple's the best, And then you just have people who are going to play it, and then you have people like me who are like, well, I'm going to beat Blurple. I'm going to play Ember Steel. And hope not enough people copy me, and then not enough people see the copying and then do what Sailor does. And I came across someone who was playing Under the Sea in the first round, which is unfortunate. It happens. She made, in my opinion, a great meta call for the weekend. She played very well. Whew, I'll tell you how I started game 3 on the draw against her, and I lost this game. I started Daisy on turn 1. Turn 2, I went Daisy, Daisy. On turn 3, I went Lady Nala. Alright. And my opponent didn't even use Baymax. I didn't get Baymax, like, under the sea. No. Somehow that, like, that's what I feared. Like, on turn 4, when she didn't Baymax, I was like, there's a chance I actually win this game. I just had to play into the early Under the Sea because I had no other out. I was, like, that's just... I had to hope to draw Pete to try to stop an Under the Sea in that scenario, and I didn't, so it's like I just have to hope to get under it. Yeah, you don't need to spend a bunch of money on Dumbos if you're under the scene. And so she opens with Bobby, loots and discards a card. Next turn, she plays Tipo, inks. The next turn, now she's on the play, right? So she goes Bobby, I go Daisy, she goes Tipo, I go Daisy, Daisy. She goes Sing, Heffalumps, and Woozles on one of your daisies. Draw a card. Ink, Pleakley the Tipo. So she goes from 2 to 3, 4, 5 ink. And on her turn 3. On my turn, I go Lady Nala, quest, trigger. Next turn, and I think she's hit on almost everyone. So I know that she's about to play a John Silver. And she plays a turn 6 John Silver. I don't remember what I do after this. I think I play like a Tiana at some point, play a couple more characters. I might not play Tiana into the onboard John Silver. I don't remember exactly what I played, but I added more characters. I didn't have strengths. I didn't have answers. But she played John Silver, then Hardcast Under the Sea, and then played Basil, and then played Hades, and then I lost at 16 lore, I think. I was done because she had like double John Silver, so there's literally... I don't even think Docs would have gotten me out at that point because I only had like 5 ink. So that was unfortunate. But that deck's geared to beat me like my deck was geared to beat Blurple, right? I just hit the wrong rock, paper, scissors part of the meta, which is part of the game, right? And you just have to hope it doesn't happen too many times in an event. It happened twice. My play mistakes happened at least once. Possibly bad matchups happened 3 times. And, you know, if you get your worst matchup ever and you lose 3 times, well, you know, that happens. And the mistake there is maybe playing the wrong archetype. It's hard to say, like, if I played Blurple 5 times, but then I played Under the Sea 3 times in a row, like, did I choose poorly? Or is that good luck followed by bad luck? Like, I hate blaming luck for something, right? But I'm very much able to jump up and say I would be lucky to play Blurple 5 rounds in a row when I play a deck geared to beat Blurple. Thoughts on Bolt on this deck? Initially, I'm not a big fan of it, but the concept of playing Bolt the turn after you quest with Tiana, like, imagine going Daisy, Nala, Tiana, Sing Strength, play Bolt Daisy, right? Like, that's a big burst. Now imagine your opponent shifting Baymax and singing Under the Sea. There's a reason Pleakley's a $10 foil right now. And it's Under the Sea. I don't know if you've seen the pictures. I'm sure they're on Twitter. If someone wants to find a picture of Habibi playing under the sea in an aquarium, it's pretty amazing. Quigley and Joseph, or Quigley, Habibi and Quigley's, the Quigster. But I like this. Sky did make top 16. He lost in the first round, and Kurt lost in the first round of the top 8 playing his version. He went 7-0 in the main event, and I think Sky got 16th place to get in. We were super happy. Maybe he didn't get 16th. He got, because... Oh, they drew. Yeah. We were super happy because for a second we thought that meant Kurt and Sky were going to play, but Kurt went 7-0 too, right? So, like, he drew the last two, and I think one of the people went, like, X and 1, so that person was in first place. So Sky played against them. So there's no team kill, but sadly, it also... He didn't win. But I like this deck. If I made any changes, I think maybe Be Our Guest is not good in this version. Good enough, anyways. Mostly because I feel people are finding answers to Tiana. Like, Tiana is just, like, devastating when they don't find what their game plan for her. But if they actually hit her game plan, like, she can be disrupted, then it's just, like, an Amber Steel fair type of beatdown deck, and you have to try to just, like, get your lore where you can. I mean, they're played to her because they need to be, and that's how card games are. Like, the meta is evolving and it's adapting. It's like, Tiana's the best thing in existence because everyone's trying these weird new things that are just maybe a little slow, and they're not having the perfect answer to cards. And you think your fun test deck you're building out of the blue is going to beat the triple on Inca opener? Like, Daisy Nala Tiana is such a brutal open. And I had it a lot, and it felt pretty good. It felt really good. It wouldn't win on its own. It needed some assistance, obviously, and it didn't win each time. But it did a lot of winning. It did lots of times require a dock to finish it. Oh, before I go on to the next day's run, I'll talk about another deck I played against in round 2. Because I started out 0-2. And it was funny is because my opponent's like, oh, I'm playing some spice, so you'll probably crush me. And I'm like, oh, okay. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Like, I need this. I'm, like, not feeling good after getting under the seed. Like, but at the same time, I'm like, I just hope his spice isn't playing under the sea. And so he opens up with Rhino and then next turn Troubadour, and I'm just like, it's not that spicy. I opened up with maybe a hook or so. I opened up the 1-drop into a Troubadour. I'm like, I think I even had the strength Tiana in hand. I'm like, good to go. I'm like, if this is just a traditional mirror, like, I'm going to steal it on the draw. Like, I'm going to do what this deck does. I am ready for this matchup. We are good to go. Okay. So his turn 3, he goes Mulan, draw a card, discards a Tinkerbell. 6-drop Tinkerbell. I'm like, all right, that could be an issue. I'm like, all right, like, I am on the draw. He shifts Rhino. I'm like, all right, like, maybe I'll draw Lady. I'm like, all right, if I draw Lady, I can take this out right now. And then he sings Beyond the Horizon. And I discard 5 cards that are really good, and I draw Penny, Hook. And I'm like, oh, this is not looking good. I have no answer to what he has in play, and I drew some, like, mid characters, and I'm on the draw in a defensive position, and if he's playing cards like Tinkerbell, I'm probably just, like, out of this board scenario. I don't even remember what I draw. I draw something that's good enough that I don't think I penny hook. I think I ink something and play maybe a hook and a 3-drop or something, like maybe a Tiana. I pass the turn, And then I play a Mulan on my turn. I think I play a Mulan and a penny, and I choose to give my Troubadour double resist because I'm like, he doesn't have a Tink in play and he's going up to 5 ink. He can't play Tinkerbell, so I don't care about the Mulan. I want to make sure he can't take my Troubadour out. Next turn, he sinks Circle of Life on the Tinkerbell in his graveyard, in his discard, and puts it into play. I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna lose this game. I'm out. I'm like, I'm not like, I can't. All right. We play a few more turns, and he's just like, I think he gets a Surfer Stitch into play, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. And then in game two, he at the end of the game he has like 3 Surfer Stitches and a Tinkerbell in play, and had like a pretty early Circle of Life, and my hand was just kind of meh. It was sad, but also like the deck looks so fun. I was just like, I want to build this. Like I built so many Circle of Life decks prepping quote like for Fable, like because the card looks so fun. So it's justice I lose to it in the losers bracket. Then I win 5 in a row. I think I played against Purple Steel twice. I think I maybe lost a game in the 4 rounds. Against Amethyst Steel, Blurple, Blurple. And then I play maybe the Mirror? Maybe the Mirror. Then I lose to Flinger Dingers, and then I lose to Joshua. You thought Purple Steel eats this deck? No. I think it's a 50-50 matchup. And I was talking earlier. It's like if you don't respect the purples, if you don't respect Amethyst Steel, you will lose to it. So if you quest your Daisy into their turn 1 hook, and then they play a Snake Mim or Hypnotic Strength isn't as bad, but still not great. I mean, it still gets you. But if you don't respect Skater Min, you just get crushed. Like when Sky and I would be playing, he'd be at 1 or 2 lore, but he would have gone like Daisy, Nala, Tiana 1-drop. Then on turn 5, he turns it sideways with like while singing a strength or something like that, to then create a scenario where I can't get him. And it's like I'm sitting there with like Jafar and Mim in hand, and I just can't get the value from my characters, like say a Diablo or a Cusco. I don't think I was on the 2-drop Cusco. I don't think that was in. I was playing Bivens Exact 60. And like there were 1 or 2 times, like literally every single time, he did not respect a Mim, like Skater Mim or a Jafar. I punished him for it. And there was probably 20 times that he needed to respect it, and he respected it 18 of the 20 times. And the 2 times he didn't respect it, I punished him, and I only didn't have it like 2 times out of the 20 as well, because the deck has so many different punishes for those plays. That's like one of the respects is just questing with a single Tiana, a Nala, and a Daisy, where if I have the strength for the Tiana, then I wipe the rest of his board with what I have in play. So you don't even need to have it like all of the tricks to do it. You just have, if you have an answer to Tiana, you wipe his board, right? So if you respect the single answer and don't quest, it's like, is getting 5 lore worth your board being wiped and getting stuck at 5 and losing? Like, no. is waiting a turn and adding another Tiana or adding two more characters, hoping to draw a dock or something, so you can, or maybe be able to go Pete dock, draw two, quest with everything. All of a sudden, they can't play their song answer. They can't Into the Unknown it. They can't do that. Like, you have to hope they don't maybe have the Hades, and if they're having Hades, they're not playing other tricks, or force them to have to pay three into it or something like that. Or don't forget that they can sometimes pay three to get it. Like, some of the games I was getting against Sky was the ones that I was able to capitalize on things such as Snake, because it can cleanly answer Tiana, and things like that. But this version is also playing cannons, and that's another thing. Is like Fire the Cannons is good right now. I think it's good in this matchup. You can take out rhinos or baby rhinos if you need to. Um, Cannons is also humorously absurdly good in
Hey, Pes
Affinity,
Nuranjis 78.
which I just wouldn't have expected. But thanks to Zan pushing this princess deck, you have 8 targets for Fire the Cannons against Amber Steel that they're going to be playing on turn 1 on the play. And Fire the Can. Okay, so against Blurple, if they don't have the Tipo ramp or the 1-drop sail 1-drop, and you Fire the Cannons, they can't play Elephant. And Elephant is one of the ways that, like, when we were testing games, like the team, the internal discussion, it's like, oh yeah, like, Elephant messes up Amber Steel. Well, so then you have to think, it's like, well, what's the next step as an Amber Steel player? How do you not let Elephant mess you up? And so what we did was use Fire the Cannons. But, like, this is for this weekend. You also have to understand that if nothing changes and you expect Blurple to be the best deck ever, something similar to this, to be able to win the mirror against other Amber Steels that are feasting, and then just the beat down against Blurple is where you want to go. If they had no 1-drop in play, I would Fire the Cannons Tipo, because then they can't play the Elephant. I mean, it does depend on what the rest of your hand is. Like, do you have another 1-drop? Like, if you can go, like, Fire the Cannons Daisy after playing a Daisy, or just, like, Fire the Cannons and a hook or something, and the next turn play your 3-drop, and then they can't play the Elephant, especially if they're on, like, a heavy Elephant list. Like, that can be quite punishing. Sometimes they're like, whatever, I got the Genie, who cares? But, like, that Genie's not challenging down your Daisy or Daisy Daisy. Like, we have, and one of the reasons, like, note the 16 ones. Like, we've got the ones. There's more notes about this, and if you'd like more in depth than the free advice I give, I'm sure Sky would love you to pay him to do coaching. But speaking of Fire the Cannons, this glorious card here is the Infinity deck I played. Also Sky's list. I had him sign my Chichas. So I got signed by Sky Chichas and then signed by Sailor Pops. I should probably get Ryan to sign my Fortispheres. RMB signature is gorgeous. I mean, skill's a factor to an like, there's just multiple things. It's like gameplay mechanics, like, so even just playing the game, there's the basic understanding of skills to, like, not miss triggers and simple things like that. Like, I don't have 100% there, especially if you watched this weekend's gameplay, which I'll comment on that in a bit, but mostly I was tired. And I'm bad at the game. I missed a few Chicha triggers. Like, doing, like, understanding that to, like, get your triggers constantly, and the basic mechanics. There is a term for it, and I can't. Yes, Miss Rarity, that is true. Uh, there's a term for it, and it's evading me. But like that's one level, and then knowing your lines. I mean, possibly JDZ, possibly. Are you doing stuff? Are you too busy to come and verbalize with me? You know I was gonna ask. It was always a pleasure, but I do love getting to hang out with you. I feel like whenever we get to run into each other, we're both like super busy. Mostly because you're like casting and stuff like that, or I'm having to run to the match. But being able to go out to get dinner and whatnot was a pleasure. Yeah, I know, I know. But where are we going? What element? Okay, so then knowing your lines is really important. Knowing what cards you need to mulligan for is part of knowing your lines, I guess. So like knowing how you should be mulliganing is probably one of the most important things in the game because of how powerful the mulligan is. Uh, like you can just win or lose based on it. Which is why when you play against some players and you keep a seven, they're like, "Oh my goodness, oh no!" And so it's great when you keep the mid hand that you're like, I guess I have to just keep curve here and pray, and then they like freak out when you keep six. It's just like I'm getting rid of the one, like I'm getting rid of the end of the seas. I don't need this 8 cost stuck in my hand. Give me an inkable, please. And they're just expecting you to have the best possible hand. Um, and that's kind of like the Diablo type of mulliganing. It's like you mull full out for certain things, like with Blurple and other Sapphire decks. That's like the turn two sail Tipo, right? They're like, of course I missed my turn two ramp. Like, oh man, you hear that all through the convention center this last weekend, I'm sure, when people did not get what they wanted. Did you see anyone playing the new Max Goof in any discard decks in Affinity? Sadly, not. I did play against Ray doing that on stream the other day, and that was really awesome. But I didn't see any in person. Our event seemed very, very heavily like Sapphire Steel, Amber Steel aggro. A dabble of Ruby Sapphire and Dogs. Yeah, a little slow but good. I've had it. I just don't always turn it on. Like, see, there's no kitty cat there right now, so it doesn't even need to be up. We got the cat back here. We don't need a nice other one. But let's find a different kitty cat. Well, we should be doing a stress test tonight for ICL stuff. So there actually will be things to watch tonight. Uh, and that's how I was like, man, I have so much things I need to do. Yeah, this is just a random cat. You can. So these are like machines set up across Japan, and they have cameras in them. And when there's a cat there, and if there's no food, you can pay tips to put food in there. So it's kind of a way to feed stray cats. It's called Meow.camera. Let's look at a popular feeder. see a kitty up over there. Or a bird. Happy Cantina or Cafeteria, number 2. Alright. But can't, like, of course the ad starts. So a lot of people are playing the princess version of Amber Steel. And that's like not bad into the normal blue steel, right? The normal sapphire steel lists. But I don't think it's that good against us. Even though like Sky still feels that that's a scary matchup. I started the event off by 2-0ing like 2 of them in a row. And like I'll tell you, playing cannons on those Auroras feels darn good. Ooh, does it feel good? It feels dirty. It's like cannons then play Jim Hawkins. Nice Daisy. Nice Daisy. Although like the dogs felt more rough than Amber Steel, kind of. Does it feel better than cannons on Cindy? Yes, actually. Because if they play Cindy, what am I going to do? Like, I rarely want to be playing Chichon 2. Like, I don't want to play Chichon 2. If they play Daisy, I would play Chichon 2. If I didn't have Jim. Like, or a Sail with something good. But even with Sail, like, I might still play the Chichon 2. Knowing that I have to draw all the cards really quickly, and knowing that I wouldn't have an answer at 4, but I might then be able to jump up to 6 if I ramp or something of the sort. If I go like Chicha into turn 3, Sail, so then on turn 6, I could hopefully play a Tamatoa to be able to counter there. Or if I don't have the Scrooge. If I had a Scrooge, then obviously I'd go Sail Scrooge, and then just like back up on the Chicha and not even worry about the card draw there, and try to play it on a turn that I'm like Flavershamming and playing that if I don't have anything better than that. Whereas in like those, like it's kind of interesting. I know I remember on the game on stream I opened up on the blind Popsicle Bell, and I even told my opponent, I was like, this is probably bad, I shouldn't be doing this, but go. And then he opens up with Daisy, and I'm like, I'm so smart. I'm so smart. But I had it all already in my hand, like enough that I like didn't feel like I was like, oh, I need this spell for ink, you know. Like I had the draw to draw cards. So I didn't even bother thinking about, do I need to keep this for ink, which you shouldn't play Bell on turn 1 into the blind. I was rewarded there, and then I think I went like Bell, Jim Hawkins. I still probably could have lost game 3. Especially since like I left the damage on the Flaversham when I didn't need to. But at that point, we had already prize split, and I was super tired and making a lot of play mistakes. It was a 7-round event, and that was... I had like only half of us played. As soon as we prize split, half the top 8 left. So it wasn't like I had to play a whole bunch. I did get a 1-round bye in the top 8. I think 3 tables had a round 1 bye. So maybe not half the people left. Maybe 3 left? Or... it's possible someone had a 2-round bye and it just wasn't me. I think it might have been that someone had to play the first round and then got a bye into the finals, or only 3 people left. Either or, I had draw, bye, play. So I had like a 3 hours, and the way my ADHD works, so just the way I work, is like, especially if I'm caffeinated, I'm like focused and I'm good to go. You give me a 3-hour break, normally I'm not gonna win that event. Like today, like that impact was also on my opponents also had a lot of fatigue as well. It was a little warm, not overly warm on Sunday. Saturday was a bit too warm. Hopefully that gets figured out for the next one. It's that the mall itself needs to work some things out, I think. And I'm gonna shake my table. So there was a few mistakes. I definitely knew I was getting fatigued when my opponent was like, "Did you just Scrooge McDuck for 5?" And I'm like still holding half of the cards, and I look down. It's like, "Oh, I did." So I like called a judge. It's like, "Hey, my opponent called this out. I didn't even realize it, but I had looked at 5 cards." Um, and the judge was like, "Do you know the order?" And I was like, "Well, I had already pulled this one out. It was the second, but I have no way to prove that. So, like, no, we can't say I did." Um, the the last card was an item, but there was 2 items. The first item was a popsicle, and we ended up shuffle. The judge ruling was shuffling it and then having a random card put back. Was the popsicle I wanted, so I had to take the other item. But I mean, it's my fault. Like I accidentally looked at one too many cards, and I got a warning for that. Um, and then I like very and I actually like I'd have to ask my opponent, but I wouldn't like. I felt like I even went like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like when I played the Scrooge, it was like. And then I feel like a bunch of times after that, with like especially in that match with him, every time I played the Scrooge, I'm like, all right, let's do this face down, like 1, 2, 3, 4. This way, even if I accidentally do grab that, we're still counting it before we flip. It's like sounds like a nap time. I don't know. When I was playing open handed on stream was because like we knew I had to find an answer to what he had or I was gonna lose. So it was like we're playing this. Doesn't matter what the other cards were from his perspective. He's playing the game basically the same way ever. So I was playing towards the for the camera. It was like we need to hit the strength right, so we're tutoring for it. Flip, 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 flip. Last card. We're just gonna flip it, pointing the character. It was another like search effect. So we're gonna play that flip, 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 flat. I think we it was like a popsicle, a flaversham, a visions, a flaversham, and then it was like literally the last card. I think the very last card was the strength or the Zeus to get it. Like it was intense for me, that was for sure. And then at the very end, like on the last turn or two, if you're wondering like why didn't he do all these things, so we literally were like the time was like done. If we there was no like turns, it was at this time period we are doing sudden death lore rules to see who wins the game, and it could have been a draw finals and we just had to split and try to like we I don't know what we would have had to have done, but the mall itself was kicking us out of the event and was like you have to be out by this time. It was quite unfortunate. There. Hopefully that is not an issue next time. It's really because that's like not something you can plan for as an event thing, right? You like tell them you're like we're running this event, we're doing it from here, and we're gonna go whatever. You don't expect them to be like you can't even have people in your own business. Like what, bruh? What? And but that doesn't matter. The event itself was great. The staff was very very great. There was some drama on some social media things because of someone who got DQ'd. Did not like it, but you can Google search that. I don't know how much I should talk about that, but uh, don't be scum and you don't be DQ'd. I guess uh, in that regard, everything I felt was good. I will very much so be trying to go back. As I said before, I was very happy that well, obviously everyone's happy when they do well. We prize split the top 8. Um, Even though I was first seed, so I was on the playing a matchup that I knew was good, I still would rather have the guaranteed monetary gain. I think we had to make it to the finals to make more money. But had we made it to the finals, we would have like doubled our money. But the vibes of declining a prize split, sometimes I'm not about. Depending on the prize split, like if the split is barely better than what you would get somehow, then like if you play one round and like triple your money, it's probably best not to do the prize split, especially if the money is like really low, like a couple hundred. But once it jumps up to like 600 and then like to the finals, it's like I'm gonna do that easily, even with the advantage I had. Plus, who knows? I can't be like, well, I won the event. I would have won anyways. Well, first of all, I had a round 1 bye, so who knows what would have happened there. Other people had buys. I might not have even played the same opponents. The entire event could have been completely different. So I can't be like, oh, I should have just played. I would have won so much more money. It's like, that's not guaranteed at all. But this deck was awesome. If I think I played my first round and I went up to like my teammates and I was just like, this deck is so stupid. It's like, oh, I can't believe it's so dumb. And like I could tell from like the face that they're like thinking I lost. And I was like, just sitting there. I'm like, draw popsicle, draw Flaversham, draw 2. This deck is dumb. I just like, it's so good. It's like, I'm like, oh, I might lose to, oh, I can't lose. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I hated playing against Flaversham, is because you finally get them to stabilization, you answer their cards in play, they have no cards in hand, and they top deck, pop into Flaversham into like removal or like into Tamatoa, especially if they have like 10 ink. It's crazy. Like, I don't know if you watched the finals, but I got Sisu'd that wiped my board like once or twice in one game, and I won that game. Like, it took out like and left him with like 2 characters in a Sisu. Like took out a Tamatoa, a Flaversham, and 2 Sisu, or two Chichas, and maybe like one other character, maybe double Flaversham. But this version of the deck is quite good, I think. Obviously, all versions. Yeah, all he drew is Sisu. Well, he only played 1 B prep. And he did play that in one of the games. We were even saying like, oh, let me know right before you play the Be Prepared, so we can both sing it really loud, so they have to hear us sing Be Prepared before they can sing it. Like, we're gonna troll the casters, but we were playing so fast we forgot to do it. I don't even think the casters sang it. But that was, yeah, so we were playing super fast to try to like finish it up. Like, I was just like, boop boop boop, go. Like, I'm not doing anything. I don't need to draw cards. I've got cards. Like, I have game if I can just. I think I had 3 Tamatoa 8s and double diamond hand, and I'm just like, I just now need to do this. And the judge is like, it wasn't the judge. Well, someone was next to me, and then afterwards was like, man, I thought you were just like trolling, not realizing that Alice answered items. It was just like, it was kind of it, because I played against him in the Swiss and he got me with Alice once, and then I had to play around at the rest, and then it was open deck list in top 8. Yeah, terribly but fast. But the Cheeches did so much, right? Because like, he could only Sisu so many cards. So it's like his early Sisus and Brawls, he's only got 5 of them, 6 of them total, while I've got 8 draw engine characters. And then the cannons, they're not even dead in this matchup because you need them to take out baby Sisu, so he can't shift it. Like, that won me a game against him in the Swiss where I took out his baby Sisu, so he didn't have enough ink to be able to go coil ink Sisu. He could only play the Sisu, which left me with Lorthel in play. The problem with playing this deck fast is messing things up. I think I accidentally cheated. Like, there was the Scrooge was the first one. I think over the weekend I tried to quest with a character I just played 4 times. 3 times I caught it. 1 times my opponent caught it. One of the times I caught it the next turn, I was like, hold on, sorry. I need to be at 2 less lore. I just played this lady. I apologize. And then the other 3 times was like, I turned them sideways, and then I was like, oh no, I just played this. And then my opponent was like, oh, you just played that. And then, oh, in the top 8 on stream, I'm like, Tamatoa. My top card is Popsicle, or is Fortisphere. I grabbed the Popsicle, and I grabbed what I thought was the Popsicle. I grabbed a Zeus. My opponent's like, did you just grab a Zeus? And I like looked down and was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, you should have waited a second for me to try to play the Zeus as a Fortisphere. Because I was literally about to play the card, like, because I grabbed them both and it was still the farthest to the right. And I was just about to play it as a Popsicle, or as a Fortisphere. So there's that too. And then I swear there was one other thing I did on stream that was just idiotic. I don't think it was a Visions. Like, I didn't mess up the Scrooge twice. I forgot I wasn't playing silksong. Maybe I'm thinking of... There's no other... Okay, mistakes total. I think I'm thinking of the amount of... I missed Chicha triggers on stream. I missed, like, 2 or 3 Chicha triggers. Maybe just 1 Chicha trigger. And then there was the Scrooge challenge that I missed. I was like, it was the first thing I was going to do in the turn. I was like, no, I might draw a Zeus. I did flip a card off a deck. Like, my first draw, like, the card flipped over. Luckily, we were able to deal with that quickly. I think that was it, but, like, too many for my taste. Most of them towards the end of the event. Or at least the ones I noticed. I hope that was all of them. Tend to notice them though, because it's like if you're playing against or with Amber Steel, and every character is exerted and all their ink is exerted, and the top card in their discard is not strength, how are their characters all exerted? That's the thing. So it's like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, wait a second. I played something. What character did I play? One of these characters should not be exerted. And I'm like, hold on a second. Sorry. I had just played this lady. I could not have quested with it. Like, I think for me that happens because Lorcana is very heavy about planning out your next few turns. So most of my mistakes come from figuring out what I want to do and then jumbling the order of it when I then go to execute it. Or forgetting to, such as challenging before passing the turn. I lost a game straight up to Flingerdingers, to the Flingerdingers guy, to Alex Coffey in game 2 in Swiss. I lost a game to him because I just didn't play the character from my hand because I thought I did already. Like, I remember being like, oh, I should probably play this lady. And then I'm like, well, let me do some math stuff first. So I was like, maybe there's some world I don't play it, but I know I'm going to play it. And then when doing the math, I even, like, pushed over a character to the left because I was like, oh, I played this Penny this turn. Thinking, yes, I had already played my character. Which character did I play? Oh, yeah, it was the Penny. The Penny I played last turn. Still had the lady face down on the table in my hand. Did the math. I ended up losing the game at 19 because I couldn't play the lady and quest with it. When I did play the lady the next turn, it got exerted by something, so it could not quest. So I didn't get, or it didn't get exerted. It got like flinger-dinger. Something happened that like it did not get the lore it needed to, or no, it would have been able to quest, but then because it wasn't able to quest with the rest of them, one more character was gotten challenged. So then, like, basically, I just like punted the game. So I definitely was not playing great Lorcana. I did get lucky. Too many things to do at once. But always call a judge, especially for any of those mistakes I made. Well, like we didn't call a judge for any of the, like, oh, that character's readied. That's interesting. Like I might have gotten like a game loss for that if every single one of those was called. But I guess like some of them were like tap a character and then I'm instantly like, oh no, I can't quest with that. I don't think that would have been a warning even because I caught it myself and I instantly undid it. The one that I waited a turn that I caught myself, that probably would have been caught. And the one where my opponent was like, no, you can't quest with that, that might have been a warning. So I think at least two of them probably. Yeah. But I think the two that I tapped and then untapped instantly wouldn't have counted. But definitely the one that I exert it and I'm like doing other actions and my opponent's like, no, that can't quest. That one would be. But in general, I don't call a judge on that the first time my opponent does it. Now, certain players I would, certain vibes I would, and probably the second or third time I would reevaluate my opinion and vibes, and I would probably call a judge there. We called a judge on the Scrooge, as you should, and there was a judge watching for the Zeus thing. And it was on cam even, like, so that's easy to know what happened and to put on record. But the deck just felt fantastic. I liked having double dime because I could always just ink the first one if I needed to and not feel bad about it. It did just feel really good. But I guess like an aggro still kind of scary. Like I guess it was some of the most fun I had playing Lorcana, and that makes me upset because it was blue steel. But I felt like there was always a chance I could come back, and I have the cards to try to combat aggro. And there were games that it's like you draw so many cards that it's like, all right, I stabilized. They're at 16 lore, and now I have to basically banish every character they play, and I need to draw a million cards to hit my removal in my 9 removal card deck, but I'm drawing like 5 or 6 cards a turn. And hope that like they can't 2 lore, and turn them both sideways before I stabilize. And then against Ruby Sapphire, the Sisu deck that should beat up on the Amber Steel decks. I think Braden made a tweet where he said that Sisu should be banned in Infinity, which is hilarious to me. If Sisu didn't get banned in previous core, it does not need to be banned in Infinity. But I understand he hates the card. I also have a strong distaste for the card. I mean, I just don't like losing to it, I guess. I don't hate it as much as I just don't like losing to it. I don't like to lose. And Sisu is a card that it's really hard not to lose to with a lot of cards. It's just like so dang good. Similar with Flaversham. It's just like hard to stop your opponent from winning when they're drawing 2 extra cards each turn. Alright, Nightbot. I'll do those squats. I need to get in shape. Oh, especially after all this traveling, I'm just going to be sitting. I'm leaving here soon. The 3 lore on Sisu, yeah. I Zeused quite a few Sisus with this deck. It felt good. I think I only had 1 Tamatoa 8 played against me. And I ignored it. Oh, I'm pretty sure I ignored it. I might have actually Zeus and strengthened it. One of those 2 things happened. Mostly, I tried to just do my thing, but sometimes I was like, no, I'm going to answer every single thing you play. And that's what that's what I did against the Mirror. Any Tamatoa deck, I had to answer their Tamatoa happy as a crowd. And I felt like whichever one of us didn't answer the Tamatoa happy crab would win. And most of the time mine did not get answered. Or the second one or the third one didn't get answered. But we're playing Vision of the Future and Chicha and Flaversham, and it was like weird because I know my deck has these cards like Visions and Popsicles and Tamatoas that I need all these ink for. Chicha just plays into it so well, where it's like normally I'm like, oh, I don't want to ink these 2 cards, but I have the Chicha. Oh, I did on stream too. I have Chicha in hand. I'm sitting there upset because my only inkables are Flaversham and Popsicle. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to ink these to draw a card off the Chicha, but at least I'm drawing 2 cards. And then I didn't play the second Chicha and double inked them. So I lost Popsicle Flaversham for 1 card. I still won the game, I think, but it hurt my soul to have to do that. Actually, that might have been one of the games I lost to dogs. But I remember, I remember when I played it after doing it, like pointing at it and being like, "You." There's just so many play patterns. It's like you draw so many cards with this deck that at the start of your turn, it's like I've got 7 cards, 12 ink. I have to answer this character. I have to set up this, and I have to draw cards. But some of the card draw just kind of replaces itself or digs deeper, so it's like it sinks some ink. And it's like, well, which card draw cantrip do I start with? It's like, all right, I'm going to start with like a little bit of Fortisphere, see if I can draw more Chichas before I go for like the Chicha draw engine, try to find more cards I want to ink before I do it. Like I definitely inked before drawing cards a few times I didn't need to. And it's like, well, can I get away with not even having to turn my Flaversham sideways? Can I end up playing another Flaversham? Or it's like, can I draw another item that I want to take out? It's like, try to keep my Popsicles in play because I can crack those easier than a Fortisphere to get them in the discard. I was happy with this list. The main differences were from the this was the same list Sky used before, but he cut 1 Tamatoa. He cut it. I say we. I played whatever he told me to play, but he cut a Tamatoa for a Fire the Cannons, like the 3rd Fire the Cannons. And it seems good. The Aurora Amber Steel Princess aggro, I think this has a fantastic matchup against. The Hyper aggro Amber Steel, I think I played against it once. I played against the Aurora version twice, and I think the Hyper aggro once, maybe twice, or just once. But That matchup felt a little bit closer, but still with like the Jim Hawkins and the Cannons, it does feel better. Because even there, Cannons does some work. Like Piglet's a card. Piglet is a thing that needs to not turn sideways, as well as Lady. So like with Ladies and Piglets and Auroras and even in the mirror, opposing Chichas, baby Sisus, shift tramps, go-go's, uh, like almost every archetype has a target in Infinity for Fire the Cannons. But it's an uninkable. Luckily, we have Fishbone Quill. This deck is... You want to hit the Fishbone Quill. Mulliganing with this deck's really important. But it's also like individual threat assessment, I think, is pretty key too. Like just deciding which threat you can ignore, which threat you're like, no, I actually have to answer this so I don't get got. Belle's interesting, super good. I like to ink her. Like she's so good because she's like decent to perfect when she's good for you. Like I rarely sang strength with her early, as much as like it wasn't like, oh, she's so good at singing songs, which she is, but we're not playing Storm. We're playing Cannons over it. Mostly because we don't like against aggro, I want Belle, right? But I don't want both of my anti-aggro early game cards to be needing Belle and Popsicle, right? I mean, I'm probably always going to have a pop if I'm lucky. I should almost every time. I think 2 games I didn't have it on turn 1. So you should always have that aspect, but I don't need to like always have the Belle. This way I have 7 cards that I can draw in the first few turns to hopefully interact with the aggressive decks of the format. And then if I draw both of them, Cannons works with Belle to take out the biggest scary things such as Daisy. And if we can take it out and still have the Belle to then answer the Nala or something like that, we're in a good spot. Or if we can go Belle into Hawkins into something of the sorts, like that's also like good. Or Belle, Hawkins, play Quill, ink. Now we have Popsicles and Cannons to play with the 1 ink we have for the Fishbone Quill to answer one of their things. It allows us to get a really good pressure down. And a turn 2 4/4 quest for 1 seems good for me. Granted, sure, Jim is like, we have 10 cards that are not fantastic in some matchups. I mean, obviously, I'm like, yeah, Cannons has targets in this mirror match and against Ruby Sapphire. But you don't want them all the time, right? You want to see a cannon when you already have like 8 cards in hand and you're drawing a bunch of cards and you're like, well, I want to kind of answer the Sisu for as little investment as possible while still committing more to the board. Then like Cannons is perfect there. But you have these 7 cards like Jim Hawkins and Belle that in the mirror are almost always inked. Now that said, like one of my opponents kind of went with like a Scrooge McDuck aggro plan, and like he quested with double Scrooge like 6 turns in a row, and eventually I was like, all right, I'm playing this Jim Hawkins. Like I've got the cards, I have other things I can ink. I just need to answer this stupid Scrooge. Like, but I mostly ignored it while I tried to catch up with card advantage on other things. I did get lucky there against him, as he said that he had made a mistake. He did not play Pete on a turn he should have, which then allowed me to play a removal plus to catch back and then steal tempo from him. And then once it came to that point, then he couldn't come back. Like Pete's there for some time. Like if you don't have the Pete to protect yourself from a sing play, then like the singing is what like gets you back in the game. It's like singing a strength or a Zeus while fully committing. All of a sudden now I am tempo. and then because I was then able to do it 2 turns in a row, because he can't then commit the Pete again the next turn because he has to play other big things or play removal to try to prevent me from catching up, then I might get an extra turn of tempo and run away with it, which can be devastating. I don't think that's what happened in that game necessarily after the Pete turn, but after that point, it was just like, oh, well, I answered your Tamatoa and committed more Tamatoas, and you didn't find an answer to mine. Now I win. Police sirens in the background. I'm going to refill my coffee. Oh! Can't wait to drive down to Denver. Fancy cheese! Where's my salami? Leave with coffee, come back with a charcuterie board. But I got salami juice on my hands. Got some fancy circle cheese. Baby Bell. Do we all need to buy Dumbos? Well, it depends on whether or not if you want to play Blurple, or if you want to play... I think you don't need Dumbos to play Amethyst Steel. I think you need Dumbos if you want to play Blurple. I think it's possible Blurple is the best deck in the format. It's possible that it's not the best meta deck in the format. It's possible it is. I think it's in a weird spot. It depends whether or not Amber Steel can beat it, and if players know the right lines to beat it, and if the Blurple players respect it. Like, Blurple becomes harder to beat as Amber Steel if they're playing more 1-drops. If they're playing Rafikis as well. If they're playing less Basils and more Rafiki type cards. Like, Basil's good, but he's real good in the mirror. But, like, are they willing to lose the mirror to beat all the Amber Steel? Is Amber Steel going to come out and flood because, like, the inbreeding of the Blurple, where they're just trying to win the mirror over and over again and going over the top, and then all of a sudden playing something crazy like 4 second stars and 2 finders keepers is something absurd. I don't know, it's interesting. I know I'm gonna have to find Dumbos if I want to play Blurple, because I'm gonna have to give the Dumbos back I borrowed. Don't call out Ed. It's very meta. Like, I was on top of it for most of the DLCs in Season 1, I'd like to think. There was probably a point that I should have just played Red-Blue. Or, honestly, Blue-Steel. I'm sure at some point. Sky insists that there was a Chicha build for some of the DLCs that it was just the best deck in format. It didn't win, but just because you're the best deck in the format, if not a lot of people are playing you, and you might have one bad matchup in single elimination or a couple bad draws in single elimination, you lose. But the fact that there was such a low amount of blue steel and still a few of the die-hard good blue steel players did well with it. Like Ryan was playing blue steel. Pretty sure he was playing blue steel in Georgia. And then Sky played it in all of them. And he at least made top 16 once because he was at Continentals and didn't have to grind in. Like, he was qualified way before I was. And he was dominating a bunch of the TIA events with blue steel as well. Is it ink decks? Let's look at core. Look at the event I didn't play in, because I don't really know any of this. All I know is he won. I'm pretty sure he's been telling people that this isn't a good deck, and then he's won 2 events in a row. Skill diff, you tell me. From what I've heard, is this version of the deck becomes harder to play the longer in the event you go. Because then your opponents start to know how to play against it. Or respect it. But if this deck was actually the best deck in the format, it'd be funny if there's a deck that was like 4 Hypnotic Strength, 4 Improvise. Like, I mean, they just ink them right. Games 2 and 3, the Rajas and the Palace cards, they're just always ink. And the Jafar Cobras. It's only 12 cards. It's only 16 cards that you shut off and draw a card at the same time. Whatever, you wait till turn 5, you play the Palace Guard and the Treasure Guardian in the same turn. I don't know how this deck is against that. I haven't played against it enough, or really at all. But Jeremy did well with it. And if I remember right from what other people have told me, is that he made this list. Because I think Zan also did well. Am I wrong? They played the same deck. Yeah, top 32, 7-2. Very respectable, very well. I mean, I went 5-4, so obviously 7-2 is good. And I think they played the same list. Yep, same list. Heads held up high. It's a card. It is a card. That somebody... Wait. Somebody bought out. They're still cheapish. But definitely somebody bought them out. I feel like I bought foils of it, but maybe I only bought regulars. And should have bought foils. Baymax Sing Under the Sea is a monster. Clarabelle spiking? I should have got some. I mean, I have 4, but I don't like taking cards out of the foil binder that I won from the prizes. Like, I don't want to. I like to keep all of that in there. But if I'm gonna play in a DLC and I need the cards, I'm gonna take it out of there, right? So I have a set. I have like the 1 foil and then the 1 enchanted. Out of stock? Out of stock? Oh, I want what categories were there? Weird. 160? What was it? It was 78. It was 78. Dude, TCG player has some issues, bruh. Like, I hate like I want to be able to do cold foil here and have them all here, but if you go, all right, it's hard to do there. Let's click on this person's store. Shop from this seller. All right. Now if I click, oh my goodness. Well, let's do Magic because they only have 19 cards. Condition, no. Where? I want foils. Oh, there we go. I'm done. It still puts it here. They own one of these cards. They have a Scour for scrap in their stock, but it's not foil. I searched for foils only, but they put their non-foil cards in the list. So now I have to look through pages of out of stock, out of stock, out of stock, out of... Let me look at just their foil cards. They do the same thing for non-English. Like, if I want to look at just Japanese 4th edition cards, like, maybe that's wrong because they actually have a thing for FBB 4th edition, but like if I just want to look through non-English cards of a set, like that a single seller has, it still gives me the same thing. It's just so infuriating. And I've actually sent a message to them before. I'm not going to do it a bunch. I just sent one. I was like, this filter doesn't work properly. Please fix it. But what can I say? Rather than... It's like trying to do the same thing in Hollow Knight over and over again and dying, but knowing that it's what you need to do and you're just not doing it right. It's like that same kind of frustration. It's like it feels like there's nothing you can do. And you just got to get lucky. I don't know. This deck is probably toxic. This is the Sisu deck. Like, and just like, it's almost a play pattern of like history repeating itself. This is red blue. This is the Sisu deck, and a few people are playing it. Joseph Quigley is the sailor of this archetype. Or the DKP. They both of them played red blue very early, Sailor and DKP. They both committed to it and they built their entire career on it. And it took a while for other people to even people were just like, oh, they're good. That's it. This deck's bad. No, the deck is cracked. You just don't know how to play it. Is normal. Like, skill expression only does so much. Like, if it's a 20-person event, sure. Okay, you're better than them. Of course you won. If it's a 100-person event, it's like, well, maybe you just skill expressed your way, but there's probably something to the deck. You start looking at 400 people events, it's not just the player, it's both. It's a super good player playing a super good deck, or it's a super good player playing their pet deck that's also a good deck that they play slightly differently than even other good players. Like, you have your Wochuk playing Amber Steel, who even myself do not always agree on certain lines or strategies for that archetype. But or Hibibi with a similar thing. Because there's so many choices for those decks to do that like when they're like, well, I'm playing this card, it's not like, oh, this card's better than this card in a vacuum. It's like, well, there's 5 or 6 meta reasons that I've learned from playing hundreds of games that pushed me to think that this matchup plays this way, and so I want this to counter this, and I want this to prevent this from hitting my other character, so then I just need it to fill in this way. And how are we going to know what Wochuk is thinking 200 games, 300 games into a format on why he plays a card? You just need to play it and hope you can figure out when to use it, when you draw it, and when to ink it. Blinkley stocks are on the up. They're $10 a piece for foils at the moment, at least. If you are not in the United States, if you are in the EU and you want Bleakleys, you should probably acquire them. I don't think it's financial advice. Please don't sue me, EU people. But I've heard they're very cheap over there on Card Market. If Card Market wants to give me a sponsorship, I mean, I will happily send Americans to go look at your website and then be upset about how cheap your cards are compared to the cards we have here. But I was chatting with someone in the Discord that they're like, I could buy 3 foils for $8 and half of it's shipping, but $8 for 3 foils compared to the $30 for 3 foils. Yeah. The no Hades thing's interesting. I think it's because maybe Under the Sea and Heads Held Up High together / You're Welcome is good enough and you don't need the Hades. But like, I could see a world that maybe you would want Hades if you expect a lot of the mirror match. So you have more cards that could then maybe answer some stuff. But at the same time, I haven't played it. You want to know more about this deck? Ping up the Quigster or Sailor. Like, I bet Sailor's talking about it on his Metafy thing. I guarantee he's talking about it in his Metafy. There's no way. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Quigster doesn't have some way that you can give him money. I think he has a guide. I like the Quigster, so go give him some love. He did fantastic with this. I guess you could talk to Jeremy about it. He got top 4. I'm sure he has a podcast episode or something about it. There's probably great sources of information about it. Doug Lorcana says Quigley has a great guide on it. Boom. A $10 guide. $10. Whew. A steal. He's a reporter. Like, that should be $100 guide. Because I bet the writing in that is exquisite. Have I read it? No. Mostly because I don't want to play this deck. I think a $10 guide is quite good. Like, I'm very cheap, and I used to be very against coaching or guides, but I think that had more to do with me being uppity and thinking more of myself than I was, and being like, well, I don't need that. But then, like, I chatted with some other players who I respect, and the idea is, it's like, sure, you could learn this, you could understand this, but you're paying for time. It's like, you give another equally skilled pro player like an hour session to learn their thoughts on matchups and stuff, that's saving you hundreds of hours. You read their guide, that's saving you hundreds of games to learn this information, to give you the head start. It's like, yes, you could do it for free. But time, if you have infinite time, you could do it. Pull out those hyperbolic chambers, then sure, make your own guides. Sell them to other people. Do it. Don't complain about people selling guides. If you think a guide's too expensive, you could say it's a little too expensive, and then that's that. You don't have to say, I'm not buying this trash. How dare you expect it? I would want you to say that. The thing that gets me, all right, I'll rant a little bit. You have someone like DKP or Zan who do have some expensive guides, but these are individuals. These are people. They are making money for themselves. And you have people rage at them for trying to make personal profit off of their own hard work. And then you have some corporation who just ignores you and just punishes you and does nothing. And then you have these consumers who will just continue to give every single corporation in the world excuse after excuse after excuse and give them money nonstop. It's like, why do you punish the mom and pop and reward the soulless entity? I just, it gets me. I've been ranting about this all weekend. I'm like, because I'm a boomer. I'm a boomer. I was raised that I should vote with my money. And I think they raised me that way because they knew it was crap. That they knew that that wasn't going to change anything, that they were going to manipulate the market. They're going to force us only to have one real choice out of a sea of choices because it's all owned by the same person with fake choices, all inflated. Whew. Anyways, Lorcana. This deck is awesome. It's probably pretty solid. Yeah, Doug. If no one bought the product, they wouldn't do it. Yeah. It's as easy as that. And that's what was my hope. And so I wouldn't buy the product. But there's always whales. So if Zan and DKP were charging too much for their product, then the person who bought that product and did not like it will not buy it the next time. And then if the product was truly overpriced, like people claim, enough people would not buy the product that those two people would have to lower their prices on their next product, and they would learn the lesson. Do I think Zan did some Houdini price marketing scheme with Oswald's? No. Like, do I think maybe he owned 5 to 10 extras and he sold them? Probably. Why not? If I bought 300 docks, 30 foils. I thought the card was busted in half, and I told everyone after I bought it, I was like, I bought these. I think the card's stupid good. I bought them to resell them later because I think it's going to go up in price because it's good. And if it doesn't, I'm going to give them away on my stream. So for me, it was a win-win, and I like money. I think if Zan bought 100 of them and he didn't tell anyone he had 100, then maybe that's a little bit. But at the same time, proving the card's good by winning an event with it is reasonable. Zan also wants to win. If he thought everyone was going to play Blue Steel and then the next week he wanted to beat Blue Steel, why not play a deck that you think beats it? Nice, Loaf. So in Magic, there was a deck called Cawblade, and it dominated. And then someone was like, I'm going to build a version of the deck that beats this version, plays it, and then next weekend plays a new version that beats that version, but loses to the original version. But no one's playing the original version because they're all playing the version that beats the original version that loses to the version that loses to the original. He created his own rock, paper, scissors in the course of a 3-week period. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're going to play the meta, be prepared to be played by other people playing the meta. That's reasonable. And when you're having big events week after week after week, the meta could shift. I think that these are good things. You want the meta to shift. It gives you can prepare for things a little bit more and not as much. Like it prevents it from being as stale. What was he trying to do with Sheriff? He was trying to beat versions with Sheriff. Yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes you can get lost in the sauce. And when you're trying to do, I was telling someone about this yesterday at Ink, that sometimes the correct play is the wrong play. And it is the correct, it's not like you can talk it out and it's actually the right play, but 90% of the time it's normally the wrong play. But you can figure out that your opponent is prepared and ready to respond to the correct play. And so you are able to put them in a scenario that, one, they don't know what they're supposed to do. Two, you punish them for maybe not having the card for the bad play because they're used to not needing it. You know, you create a scenario that, like, they're not able to punish you fully. It's like you take the 80% or like a play that gives you a slight advantage instead of the play that gives you the game. Because if you take the play that gives you the game, you're giving them a chance to flip the table on you and take the game from you. It's like 80% to win, 20% to lose, or 60% to win, 5% to lose, 30%, like, who knows, it's a toss, if that makes sense. Like, or it's like 60% to win the game on the spot, 40% to not lose but still have to play the game, compared to 80% to win the game on the spot and 20% to lose the game on the spot. It's like, do you want to take the or not guaranteed, but like the chance that has a guaranteed loss, or the chance that you're not guaranteed to lose but you're not guaranteed to win right away? And personally, as a player, I go towards the secondary one, because I hate losing. I said it earlier as I was talking, I don't like to lose. So if I can make a choice that prevents me from having a chance to lose on the spot, I'm probably going to take that chance if I notice it. As Kawa said on the stream, why isn't he using his popsicle to heal? Like, he'll lose the game. Well, that was because I'm silly. I'm a silly Billy, and I forgot. I was not playing around it. I felt so big brain when I healed. It might have actually won me the game, honestly, when I healed my gym of 1 damage on turn 2 or turn 3, when I took out the Daisy, because I didn't want him to go Lady Tramp, take out the gym with the Nala. Instead, he went just in time into Cricky and double challenged it. But then I was able to Zeus the Cricky, and he didn't have enough lore gain, and he ended up losing the game. Like, he took a fun play. We had chatted. He was like, well, do I take the fun play, or do I take the lore gain play? And I was like, well, do you want clout? Do you want to do fun? Like, what do you want to do? And so he was like, well, I'm going to do the fun play. And so then he challenged my it was the fun / prevents him from losing on my turn if I have it. I didn't have it, but if I had it, I could have won. So he takes out, like, the crab. So he chose not to force me to have it, and then I didn't have it, and I had other things to punish him. So there is a risk either way. And it was also kind of fun where he wanted to take it out and show some stuff off. But had he had one more lore at that point, he could have played completely different and won the game. And it's like weird how that actually mattered, even though that wasn't like what I made the play to do. It was a pleasant outcome of that line I took. This card is awesome. I've loved this card since it came out. I can't remember if I sold my Enchanted or not. I literally can't remember. It's either in here or it's in my cube. It's probably in the cube if I have it anywhere, honestly. But I've wanted it to be good. And I do like how they're doing it. It's like you can play it on turn 4 with a Tipo, shift this on the turn 1 Basil, you can shift it, and then under the sea on turn 3 on the draw against Daisy Nala Lady Daisy, or Lady Daisy Tiana. I would do that in a heartbeat, easily, and you probably win the game on the spot. Like, could you, like, this deck is a nightmare for Amber Steel, which is interesting. Like, if this deck all of a sudden was an equal meta share of, like, Blurple, then Amber Steel would probably see even less play, if no play at all, which then could make Blurple's play share increase. And it depends on what Blurple versus this are. Sailor lost to Ryan, and I think Sailor lost to Humble, and they were both on Blurple. But Sailor, I do believe, was also crushing Blurple all day long, and he was on the draw most of the day. He was on the draw versus both Ryan and Humble, and so you could argue that it lost to a specific play pattern, I think, which, if Sailor knew what that pattern was, most likely Ryan and Humble know what that pattern was as well, because they would all know, so that way that they could beat other players on it, and vice versa, if that makes sense. So it is unfortunate for Sailor in that point. And if there's a single play line that if they can make happen, they win, but doesn't always happen, but does a lot, then you could see, like, Clarabelle shift go down. Like, we could predict, in a way, how the meta would go over however long we want it to go. We could create, if we had tally marks for each event, we could try to create the scenario of what deck should beat what and go up and down. Now that could change because there could be a spike, and any spike in an event where, say, an Amber Steel player gets lucky a week earlier than the meta should allow, when maybe there's still more green blue than there should be, but he misses it and messes up all that blurple, right? And spikes an event, that could shift the timeline a little bit. But that's really what it's all about when trying to predict your meta. So right now, we have Denver next week. Then we have an off week that I know there's events. I know there's events, but it's an off week for me. I'm not traveling anywhere. Actually, that's not true. It's not an off week for me. If you're a European, you'll be pleasant to hear, and if you are North American, well, if you don't sleep, you'll like to hear it. But I will be helping with the Italian lore league again, and I'll be cloaked, so I'll be casting very late at night on Friday night into Saturday morning, and then Saturday night into Sunday morning. We'll see if I can survive. Last time, I think I made it part way on the Sunday stream, but I wasn't able to keep going. Or I wasn't able to finish the Saturday one. I mean, I didn't sleep at all. I went from like the wake up at 7 a.m. and I streamed and till like 7 a.m. the next day. I mean, I didn't stream the whole time. I like streamed my morning, took a day off, but I started streaming again at night. Maybe I could do 24-hour stream. My wife would hate it, but maybe I could beat 24-hour silksong Lorcana chat stream. People would hate it, but it would be the only way I think I could stay up for that long, is if I was playing a game. Like, that's the only way JDZ was able to do it, was he had the puzzle to focus on. You have to have something to keep your brain going, or you'll die. No, I hate puzzles, and I can't do that. I want JDZ's puzzle record to be in the books forever. Like, I'd have to do a different puzzle or something to put, so I could get a puzzle record next to his, right? You know, like, you can't just beat it. No, if someone else beat his record, well, then I might have to have his back and get it back, you know. Yeah, it looks fun. Is there a way to look at these decks as cards? Oh, haha! Scroll down. I'm silly. I wonder what your welcome has jumped up to. Give me a cold foil, please. Not bad. Not a bad cold foil price. I think I have some. Otherwise, I would acquire some. Let's see what the enchanted is. What can I say but you're welcome? It has not spiked yet. Yet, as if I know it will. But based on trends, it might. I mean, Maui's not a princess, so it might not. He's also not a cow. The Clarabelle did spike. I'm pretty sure we looked at that. But Donald Duck is actually the sauce. Donald is why the duck is actually good, by the way. I'm just gonna assume that Jeremy was watching my stream on Wednesday. That's definitely what it was. He was watching me and Ray play, and he was like, "Oh man, that Donald Duck is trounce and wonder. Like, look at the work it's doing." And if any of you were there watching, like, that was my takeaway from that stream. Was like, wow, Donald Duck is looking hot here. It comes down before I was playing Blurple. It comes down before I can really cleanly answer it, because we're both ramping, right? They're playing Donald on turn 3. I'm not able to Genie Elsa that. I mean, I guess if I was on the play and I had the 1-drop, I guess I could go Basil, Tipo, Genie. They played Donald. I play Elsa. I guess I could do that. So that is fair. So it doesn't fully win that, so they probably don't play it on that turn. But if I'm going to that, they could have opened Basil Tipo. And if I have Basil Tipo Genie, they could Sing Under the Sea. They could shift Basil, Sing Under the Sea, and now I might lose the game as a Blurple player from there. I have 4 ink cards in hand, but they've got a shifted Basil and a Tipo. And so I have to have the end of the Inkwell. And I have to hard cast it. So I have 5 ink into the Inkwell. Maybe play a 2-drop. Maybe play another Sail to ramp me up, even though that's not fantastic because you don't need more ramp there, you need more draw. So I play into the Inkwell on their Basil as an answer, and now they've got 6 ink going up to 7 ink. And they could just, if I played a 2-drop, they play Basil to slow me back down. If I play any character, they could Basil me. And then they get to start getting cards out of my hand. Otherwise, they could just drop a Clarabelle. They're low on cards-ish. I have a bunch of cards, maybe, but still it's a Clarabelle that now I need to answer again, but I have 6 ink. And all of a sudden, every Clarabelle and Donald Duck and Basil I have to answer. And they even could play another Basil and then ink and then get me. Like, this deck could be brutal. And, I mean, it makes sense as to why it did so well. What did this lose to? It lost to Amethyst Steel, I think. I think the top 2 is Amethyst Steel. William C. I don't know who that is. This is the only event they've played in. Not a bad first deck list to have up. 1 White Rose. This is Bivens' deck. This looks like a straight copy pasta of Bivens. This is Bivens' list. Yep. I mean, this felt very good. You hate this deck, Real Toxic, or the other one, the Sapphire Emerald? Yeah. I would agree. It's like the Sisu deck. It's not going to feel good to play against at all. Oh my goodness, holy crap. Let me set an alarm. I forgot that I have to pick my kid up from school and take him to a doctor's appointment at 2. It's 12:50, so I've got like a half an hour more. 40 minutes more before I gotta drive 5:15. Yeah, about half an hour more if I gotta pick him up, so I'm probably gonna stop at 1:20. I even have an alarm set for that. Perfect. We got 30 more minutes to chit chat. And this felt really good. Like, as I said, like if your opponent does not respect it, you get blown out. And the other brilliant thing about that is there's multiple lists. Like, these decks have quite a few different cards. And so you have to like figure out which lists they're playing very quickly, but there's also overlap. Like they start on Captain Hook, it's either list, you know. But if they start on Palace Guard, oh, I know which list it is, right? Then you can adjust. But sometimes it could be kind of a mix. Like this, like the winning version doesn't play the Skater Mims. They're not surfing. They're not playing Surfer Mim. I think it's actually called Skater Mim, but in my heart, it's Surfer. People have been calling her Skater, but she's a Surfer. Like, we already have other Surfers in the game. Surfer Mim. It literally should have had the type Surfer. We have so many Surfers in the game. I want my card that gives all Surfers +1 lore. And in some of the things are similar overlap, but like the numbers are different. And we chatted about that earlier. It's like if someone's just playing the copy pasta of a list, it's easier to play against them because you can play around things. But if you think they're playing that and they're not, like, you could get blown out. So you do have to kind of respect it, which is why some people like playing open deck list and others, like myself, despise it. I absolutely hate open deck list as a player. It has its reasons. And in my mind, those reasons are basically to try to prevent cheating and to make a viewing experience better. if, like, in my mind, the perfect way to do it, you'd have like an 8-person event, not open deck list, and then like you had it all recorded and then you played it on stream and you didn't let them tell. It's just so hard to do that. Like, and they can't even talk to each other about what other people were playing. You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird. And so just to combat that in general, you do open deck lists, and it takes a lot of advantages away from people. It takes my advantages away now as a person on a team. But in general, I don't like my opponent knowing what I'm playing. Snake chips! Yay! Glad you're here. See, I am here. I like to not let my opponent know what to play around. I like to play spicy one-ofs here as marbles. We could probably play a game of marbles at the same time. I needed to do a giveaway. Oh man, that's the thing. We needed to do the giveaway for JDV. Is JDV here? We were supposed to do a giveaway with him. He triggered a giveaway of sorts. I don't remember what we were giving away. I need to install this. I played it on my Steam Deck a little bit. Ruby Steel Master. Marbles. But Amethyst Steel, it's just like Amber Steel. It has play expression. The difference is like Amber Steel's a little bit faster, and this is a little bit more reactive. It's like Amber Steel aggro and McValue from last set. This is the McValue deck, right? You're playing Belle and Elsa. A potato chip. How you doing, Ryan? Chipped. Let's see, what else did well at this event? Hey, look, we had Amber Steel. Let's see how this list did it. Going for the Sven. Cannons, as we talked earlier, Cannons is good in this meta. We didn't play Mr. Arrow. We decided to not go on that aggressive route. They played less 1-drops than us. And they had the Jim Deere package. Just more all-in aggressive, it appeared. I like the Sven. Kurt also played Sven. I didn't actually have Svens. There was literally a world that on Saturday I would have cut the 2 Be Our Guests for 2 Svens. Sven is an answer to Lewis, and Lewis is just not very good. Or not Sven. Be Our Guest is an answer to Lewis, and you ask yourself, you ask me, wonder why is Be Our Guest good against Lewis? Well, it's because Reckless is not as good of a keyword as it could be. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just didn't phase Reckless out and create a better keyword that also said the character cannot sing. And so you just sing with Be Our Guest, and then you don't have to challenge. We haven't talked about the Ink yet, outside of my run. We'll look at that after this, I guess. I don't agree. I wouldn't play this list, I don't think. But I see when I would want to. Like, this seems like it's a little more for the Blurple than I think it needs to be, and it, like, worse in the mirror. Outside of the cannons. I think the cannons are very good in the mirror. As we discussed, because it takes out rhinos, which could be relevant. As well as, like, you know, shooting a Pluto, and so you can bash it down. But I think most of the time in the mirror you want to go aggro. It's missing the Troubadour. I think that's the big point. If you want to win the mirror, is you need Troubadour. It's also, Troubadour is really difficult for Blurple to answer with characters early. It does require like a Basil like buff sometimes, like, and like Tipo Basil buff doesn't take it down, right? And like that's relevant. But they obviously, especially with Sven's really like Nala Sven is pretty sauce. Just to get that extra protection, or even just like questing and then like questing with Tiana, ready Tiana, and then passing. If you don't necessarily, like, if they could pay the 3 and it's just not worth it, it's like, oh, well, I don't want to give them a card with Daisy, but I'll take the free Tiana and then commit a Sven. So then now next turn I get a quest with all of it, and then now they can answer the Tiana, but they can't answer both of the other things as well necessarily. Or just going like quest with Tiana, Sven, ready, sync, strength, and then it's like pretty hot there too. So another huh, a nice little blurple list here by someone randomly named Corey Patrick. I mean Corey P. How is this the only list Humble has on here? Maybe it's just because it's not listed as Humble. I'm pretty sure this was Humble's list. Unless there's multiple Corys. Yeah, I was pretty sure he got top 4. Yeah, 3rd place. Nice, nice, nice. Playing to Dumbo. Interesting, 391 and 921. They just don't have his top 8 added to it or something. But yeah, just like the basic lists. Corey preferred Rafiki over Royal Guard. Oh wow, this one went with the 4 and 4. They did not want to lose to Amber Steel. I'm assuming that this person's run had Amber Steel opponents. 4 Iago and 2 Scrooges and 2 Yzmas. The spicy build and 2 Robin Hoods. Pouncing practice. Oh, I'm sure that just made someone real unhappy. Oh, I love how they're playing 4 Iagos, but they're also playing a card that is just like, I'm gonna mess your Iago up, brah, and you're not gonna have a good day. Hash browns are delicious. I might like hash browns more than fries, but it's hard to say. But this is a interesting list. It just like how much different these two lists are. There's like that many different cards you could be playing in this deck. Only 1 second stars are cantripped. I mean, when you got pouncing practice. I don't know about Monstro. I haven't played enough with Blurple against everything to know whether or not I'd actually want to have Monstro. I think I saw, did JDRR post a list with 4 Monstro? Not 4, at least 1, maybe. I could maybe see 1. It probably is not bad against, especially if you have second star to the right. It's probably not bad against some lists. Elephant versus Elsa, that's hot. I've considered Double Trouble in a Steel deck if Vanish characters on the rise, like in Sean's variant on Amethyst Steel. Yeah, Brandon. Some juicy, fun stuff. 4 Monstro, that is so many. But maybe. Ooh, never gonna stop, eh? Johnny Silver. See, this could have been really hot tech. And it obviously worked for him. And I think JDR said that he liked John Silver over Pete. But I do disagree a little bit there for the current meta prediction, where I expect a lot of Under the Seas. And I think now, like, I think there was a blip where John Silver was like sauce and where you wanted to be. but I think that, in my opinion, to win the Amber Steel Mirror, I like having that. Kurt didn't have the Pete. He didn't think you needed it necessarily. I still kind of liked it. I don't know if I need 4 necessarily, but I was really wanting to draw it against the Under the Sea lists. And if we're seeing more and more Emerald Sapphire, then I will be playing Pete still over John Silver. I still might want to play John Silver. I like this card. I love 3-cost 3/3s that quest for 1 that have like a cool effect, like Pete and this, and I think Tramp is one, but its effect is just like just a little not good enough. Like a split possibly. I'm not huge on Lawrence. I mean, yeah, you kind of have Penny to heal 2, but it does quest for 2. I haven't played very much with it. I don't like the way Lawrence looks on paper, I should say. I have not played with Lawrence in this set, this format. 19-20 in top 16. Lost to him 2-1 with the last game. That's brutal. Yeah. Losing, and like that's the thing, is like players don't even get to see that. They're like, oh, it beat it, sure, whatever. It's like, bruh, you didn't get to see game 3 was a 30-minute slugfest, and we ended the game 19-20. Didn't really matter who was on the play. Like, we just both went back and forth, and like one barely got there at the end. Like, those games are so awesome, and sometimes people just don't get to see it. Or it's just like, yeah, I thought I had the game in the bag, and in the last turn it was Lady Doc into Sing Strength Doc into Fire the Cannons. What was I supposed to do? Like, I have no idea. Another question, how do you think Blurple has to approach the green-blue matchup? Keep hand size on a reasonable low amount? Try to snipe their Clarabelle shift? Something else? It's hard to say. And that's another reason this deck is so frustrating. It's like, oh, you're playing around my Clarabelle? Oh, shame if your hand disappeared. Like, oh no, it was a grinder, decided not to use a Cobra effect to conserve cards in hand and only get to 19. Yeah, that's brutal, especially if you still had... If you had one of the cards from when you didn't Cobra still left in your hand, that is just the why? Like, I wouldn't know for sure. I haven't played it. But it's kind of like based on what they're doing. If they're going Clarabelle, and they have them in play, and they don't have a Basil shift, or the Basil, they technically have less Basils to shift into than they have Clarabelles. It's probably better to play around than Clarabelle. But I'd have to play. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe they don't have discard your hand. Like, they're not playing that yet. Who knows? They might be adding a bend at some point. That would be irritating to play against. That's what everyone thought the format was going to be, right? It's like bends and Under the Seas. Well, it's finally coming to this. It's like, it's one of the most powerful things you could be doing in the game. How can you make it that you're able to afford to do it? And that's the way. 4 Under the Sea, 4 Ducks, 4 Baymax. And
Healing biscuits.
And you don't even necessarily need the ducks, but at the same time, it's like, how does Blurple cleanly answer that? That's not 2 for 1-ing themselves most of the time. But Blurple is probably this deck's bad matchup. Maybe not bad, but as we were saying earlier, like there's probably a way for Blurple to beat this, and those Blurple players need to know it, and it's probably not one, easy to know, or two, easy to actually have happen. Like it might have to be that a certain bad thing has to happen to this deck, and I'm assuming that bad thing's not missing ramp. Like I doubt Sailor missed ramp twice versus both Blurple teammate players that he played against. You feel like Hades wins you the green blue mirror. Yeah, we were chatting that earlier. It's like maybe Hades comes in to win the mirror match, right? And that's probably why like they're not running Hades so they can run Scrooge, but still run 12 slash less uninkables. And I like having more uninkables in my deck, but when you're playing a Clarabelle deck, you actually kind of have to go towards more of the inkables. That way you're guaranteed to be able to ink and shift in certain turns, especially if you want to like ink shift Sing Your Welcome or something like that. Yep. I do not know how this matchup is against Purple Steel. Maybe AB from YouTube chat. Did you play against this archetype much? How did you feel that went? I will tell the other chat if you want. Let's look at the Ink core. ASBGA, huh? Oh, this list. You just go under them. You have more things that don't get under the seeds, so that would mean they probably have to have the Held's Head up high. So they have to have more singers. Or have 6 ink and a singer. This heads, draw a card. No. Yeah, so this one's running the Bolt, the Snow White. I won't give in. I like this card. It's basically, it's similar to Be Our Guest, but a little different at the same time. And it might be better, honestly. I've played it once or twice, but like almost always end up like only trying it as a one of and cutting it for better cards. But now that the format's rotated, when you have cards like the Prince, Doc, and Nala, all like high impact 2-cost targets. Like obviously Bro is going the Prince, Jim Deere. Like this is like Sailor and I's like hyper aggro list. It's like we're all in on dropping like Lady with a bodyguard while having other things, and because he's on Bolt, that's why these bodyguards are good, right? He wants to play bodyguard on 2, Bolt, Quest with a bodyguard on 3. What does Aurora do here? Play Mulan for free? Play Tiana on turn 2, play Snow White cheaper. Maybe? Snow White is a lot better with Aurora, that's for sure. And against Blurple, Snow White's hilarious. As it just like forces the one of the into the unknowns or Hades. And I mean, they have the cannons, as we talked about, being good in the mirror, and then they have the Rapunzel's tower, which is cute, but I don't know. It does make things even harder to take out. Like, oh, Tiana, but you can't pay 3. You can pay the 3, but she's still not down. You can't. You can't challenge down the tower and take out Tiana and take out my team at once. Quick question: do you think Blue Steel mid range is going to be good? Like the allies? I think there might be some Scar list out there that could be good. I think Scar. Most of the decks, I think, need to have a card that is so powerful that it can win you the game by its card advantage or its pressure. and Tiana it's pressure, and Bolt is pressure, and then others is like card advantage, like most of the other archetypes, like Blurple and Green Blue. There's like some discard, some bounce types of tempo advantage mixed with others. Truby Tuesdays. King Dumbo. Amber Steel Aggro. Dumbo. 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 Aggro Steel Aggro. Dumbo. Dumbo. Amber Steel Aggro. Dumbo. 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 Amber Steel Aggro. Dumbo. Dumbo. And then the Flinger Dingers. And then allies. And yet, I only played against Dumbo twice in that event. But so that's the other thing, is I was like, if this weekend is full of Blurple and I lose in the first round, I might not play against Blurple because they're winning and I'm playing against the decks that lose to Blurple. And I was like, well, maybe I'll play a Blurple player that just lost to Amber Steel. And my first Blurple player had played Amber Steel 2 rounds in a row. And I was their third Amber Steel opponent in a row. I was like, sorry, bro, but I need this. I needed it just to maintain a psyche. I mean, realistically, it was hanging out with like a bunch of friends over the weekend on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to be able to like keep my head above water in a mental state that it's like doing poorly in the event could have derailed me from doing well on Sunday. But because I just got to hang out and chill with a bunch of cool peeps, it makes it a lot easier to just like get that out of the headspace, focus, let's go. It's another day, another event. Let's just play and have fun. And then, yeah. Ska Family. What is it called? Finally King. I was like, family friend? Family King? No, Finally King. No Smash in this list, though, Buddha. Shift, Bolt, and Restand package could be good in Amber Steel. Maybe. Maybe. That would be interesting. I was looking at Simba as an interesting lineup, but the shift targets are just so mid. But I guess Bolt does have a 1-cost shift target. Oh, that's not what I want. What I think. No, it's a 2-cost shift target. Yeah. I want to be doing what I assume Snake Chips has been doing and playing 2-drop Tinkerbell, and then on turn 5 playing Scar, exerting it, gaining 2 lore, questing with something, banishing it, drawing 5 cards, discarding 2. So it's like, on this one, what are we doing? We're doing, I guess it's Pleakley, so that doesn't work, but like on turn 4, well, this list is ramping, so it's like skipping the 4, so it's just the Jasmine. I'm sure there's an ally that costs 4 that we could use. Pluto, the 5/5 big boy, but I'm assuming we'd want to keep our Pluto in play if we're putting this in Exerted. But like playing Pluto on turn 4, gaining 2 lore and protecting our other 2 characters is also good. We play Tink on 2, so on turn 3 we're playing Prince John. He's not an ally though. We need an ally that costs 3. Genie, I guess, which also puts some Thresher pressure and is a big fatty. Could be good. This deck's fun looking. It's got Chicha in it. I gotta try it just for that. This is Batsu, right? Am I silly Billy? Yeah, okay, this is Batsu. Yeah. Batsu is playing Monstro, so he has some faith. This is the sauce that Batsu is on. Like, if you want to play something funny to upset some people, play Helping Hand. answers illusions while also drawing a card. Its biggest downside is it's not inkable, but you can give your Scrooge support, draw a card, quest for 2, and then use your Diablo or your Tipo to take out like gigantic Tiana. Well, and then the rest of your board cleans up. It's pretty sauce. Like, I think it's pretty neat. Like, Helping Hands is a cool card. I'm sure it's worth like over $1 now too. Where did Batsu finish? 13th? Nice. Monstro, like, I see playing Monstro if you're on the Donald Duck. If you're on Donald Duck, it's not going to go max here. But he's not on the Elsa, the big Elsa, which is interesting. Basically swapping those with Monstros, right? That's like the big thing is Elsa's Monstro, but we're running Helping Hand, so we can't run as many uninks. And we're running Scrooge. So it's like we're really heavy on the unink count in like our mandatory slots. I mean, I doubt you'll win a big event running Yzma over Dumbo. Like, so the main reason is that, like, you play it and then they Elsa it and take it out. So the reason Dumbo's good is because you can play it and then draw a card with something else. So then if they do answer your Dumbo, you at least kind of got some advantage from it. And sure, if you ready with it, you could draw like 2 or 3 cards and gain 3 lore. It has an effect of just like steamrolling down and gaining so much value. And Yzma does too, but it's so much harder to do over and over again. Look up Eds. Did he finish well? Yep. Yes, 6 and 2, quite well. 4 seconds star to the right. 4 Monstro. Oh my. So, you remember when I was talking about... So, someone mentioned in chat, like Ed. I thought they were referring to his Worlds thing. But this is like the, I want to play the mirror, I'm going to crush the mirror, and I don't care if I lose to Amber Steel. Because I would assume that this deck has a nightmare matchup against Amber Steel. And this is his only a chance. There's like maybe like Tipo into Iago, and they're not playing Fire the Cannon. Like, that's the other thing why Fire the Cannon is so dang good, is because Iago's get you. Like, he respects not he doesn't have the 1-drops. Like, he can't play the thing. All right, I gotta stop the stream now because I can't be late to this. But yeah, this is like the definition of going over the top, right? He expected a heavy blurple format, and this tries to go over the top. This could get got by the green blues, right? Like, second star to the right as a 4 of is not something you want in your deck against a Clarabelle meta, right? Maybe I'm wrong and it's fine. And Ed, like, you just keep it in your hand and you answer the Clarabelle, then you sing it with your things and you play the cards. And maybe it is actually the answer to Clarabelle. It could be like Ed's brilliant. Maybe that's the outright, and that's the way to get it. But Monstro is much more considerable when you have so many second sunrise. It's fun. I mentioned that earlier. I didn't even know you did this. That's funny. Like, imagine playing this deck and not having turn 2 ramp. Locals of mine played a list similar to this in the last set. He always played Blurple. He liked playing... He would play a lot of JDR lists and then play his own. He played Kita, but he played like the Popsicle Bell list, and like I've seen him play games where he's like, my first play of the game was turn 3 hardcast Bell. I lost. I'm like, yeah, that's, you're not gonna win those. I think it might be too slow, but it's possible. It is possible. All right, but no, I do need to go, so we're gonna raid somebody. I would love to have streamed for another hour. I love just talking. I love to vamp. Who are we gonna raid? Same category. The Lorcana. Well, neither of those are in English. We're gonna raid Eggs. Eggs is awesome. She does lots of different random nerdy stuff, Pokemon stuff, card game stuff. You should check her stuff out. I'm gonna have to head out. But you all have a fantastic day. I should be back later tonight with some ICL stress test. There will be a notification for that tomorrow morning. I should have some stuff, and then more ICL stress stuff tomorrow night. But then I will be going to PPG, so I'll be driving on those next days. Until then, I'll see you all later. Bye.